We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You know I blame it on industry. I blame it on my own hypocrisy. Miseducation and politicians. No one's willing to step up and speak.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. We are being broadcasted live here at paceradio.net. I'm your host, Al Graham. Tonight, Kim Cooper joins me, and her guest tonight is an educator, a speaker, plus so much more, and we're going to work to find out what all much more. Plus, Kim and I are going to have our usual chat, and I bet you I got a good idea what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a given. What is the date today? Well, the date today is 4/21. So, of course, we're going to talk 4/20. And what a whirlwind day we had yesterday.
Yes, we sure did. We went from coast to coast, literally, here on the network, covering several different 420 time zones as we went from one side to the other. Guests, our first guest, Brandon Quinlan, he was out there on Newfoundland.
Yeah, love Brandon. He's an old hippie, living on the rock, as they say out there, and I love it. I mean, he's down to earth. He's he's farming and he's doing his chickens and suburban farming almost, out there, and he's just awesome.
Yeah, really. And we had quite the talk, all the organics and everything.
Yeah.
I went, wow, okay, this is quite the conversation. And,
kept
going
We
with it.
talked guano for quite a while.
We even found out quail guano is good to grow in, And his birds were all chirping in the background. You could hear them all there doing their thing,
Yeah. So I mean, that's where we got started, bringing in Canada's first 420 session out there in Newfoundland with Brandon. That was a lot of fun. And then, of course, we went on to Cindy in Nova Scotia.
Cindy in Nova Scotia, and talked to her about the the 420 events there in the past. And obviously, with COVID and everything, that's all changed right now. But we got a good idea on how things were there.
Yeah, working our way across the country. Then we got into Quebec and Ontario, and we had Loretta join us from Quebec. And of course, we were all in Ontario as well.
Yeah, well, Loretta was part of Tamara's in the Central Mountain time zone. When we did the Eastern time zone, we had our sponsors. Jordan from Legacy 420, Deb and Ron from BMA Hydroponics, Scott from Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions, and Wayne and Shallon from the Campbell Lifestyle Shop. Wayne was a former organizer of 420 events, so we got to talk to him.
Peterborough 420. I mean, you guys rocked it out during that time period, during your time doing the Peterborough 420.
Oh, they were great. Oh, we had fantastic times doing it. We could have just talked an hour just about them alone. It was Craig talked about an experience there when it was pouring rain, and we're all still out there, and there was a band playing where we were actually inside of a double long garage shelter thing, the tarps over top of the plastic tubing. We're in there just giving her. It was good. But and then everybody shared their experiences. Finding it from Scott, he says, I've never got involved in any of that stuff. He'd never done one, so he looks forward to doing one in the future.
Yeah, that's right. So from days gone by to brand new. And just diving into the whole experience of it all and looking forward to the future. We encompassed the whole thing. I introduced Northern Ontario here to their first 420s that have ever been had up here. I've hosted 5 of them up here in Northern Ontario as well. And we talked a bit about some of the experiences in Toronto and with the massive ones and going back and forth, to the big events at Yonge and Dundas Square.
Yeah, and I talked about going back in the old days. Well, I call it the old days. back about 12 years ago, and going to Niagara Falls, and how it was the early 420s, and
the real early days.
The early days. But this is a new thing, and I think once we're allowed to get out and about, that it'll all be combined. But we after we did the Eastern, we went on to Central Mountain Time. Tamara had Jeff Lundstrom on. We talked about him. He talked about micro grower nurseries. He's going to be a guest, I believe, next week on our program, so we'll be able to find out about that. As well as Madison, a performer that is from Cranbrook, where Tamara lives. She was on there and talked about her experience in Europe, Amsterdam, and some other countries as well.
Amazing. Yeah, it was a great day talking about everything. And Madison she entertained us with some music. And man, that woman can sing.
Yeah, live right here on the radio. It was great having her perform. We had to do the 2 songs. One of them about her experience over in Europe.
Yes, exactly. I mean, really, really great session that we had. 5 hours, coast to coast, ending off in the Sunshine Coast with the Silly Socoras. Michelle and Doug Socorra joined us, but they wound up having some technical problems, and they lost their internet, so they couldn't get back in.
Yeah, because they were updating us on what was going on over there at Sunset. Yeah, and all of a sudden they were gone. We had Kirk Adamson, and he was on that segment. And we talked a lot to him as well about the Gazette papers and all the different types of things, and as well as living on a boat.
Yeah, living on a boat. And how jealous we were this time last year when we had him on the air.
Yes.
Because that was the beginning of it all, and we were all kind of stuck in our houses and just starting to become accustomed to that. And it was like, I want to go out, and there's Kirk on a boat, and it's like, jealous.
And Kirk provided us with some Gazette papers, all the different kinds of papers that they produce for cannabis, as well as rolling trays and grinders that we're going to send off to our winners from our questions that we had for each segment. Yeah. So
thank you for everybody that participated in that and chimed in with some answers and joined us for our Coast to Coast Live. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, Scott there from Dr. Buck's Cannabis Trimming Solutions. He provided us with some masks to distribute, and through Pace and Treating Yourself, we had those DVDs, like 12 of them, in three sets with 12 discs, about 12 discs.
Yeah, it's a great set.
It's a great set. So they're gonna all go in the mail this week and get them off to those prize winners. Absolutely.
So looking forward to giving that stuff out, and it was a great day. It wasn't a 420 that we would have chosen to do, not the way we would have chosen to do it, but we made the best of the situation that we had hand, played the cards that we were dealt, and we came together as a community anyway, in a virtual manner, because that's what was available. So they're not stopping us from getting together.
No,
and we've had virtual joints on StreamYard. So
yeah, we did it with PAC, People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada. I was involved in one of their Pass the Doobies Across the Country things that we did. Yeah. It's we adapt, right? So
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. We adapt.
Just because we smoke cannabis doesn't mean we don't know what we're doing. Like, come on.
That's right. We're at the forefront of this tech. We'll learn it. We got it.
Learn it. Yeah. These days they seem to be born with it. I don't know. So
we got it. Hey,
seeing the grandkids, they're just.
Yeah, that's it. Well, whenever I have a problem, that's what you do. You call one of the kids, right? The kid, the grandkid, somebody. Hey, Hey, one of you young people, get your ass over here.
That's
Figure
right.
this out for
Exactly. All right. Well, time to bring in a guest. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to our convo.
All right. Our guest tonight, as we mentioned earlier, is a person who is an educator as well as a speaker. Plus much more. We're going to find out what much more is as the night goes along here. So we'd like to welcome Lisa Cahn On to the Pace Radio Show. Hello, Lisa. How are you tonight?
I'm fine, Al. Hi, Kim. Thank you for inviting me to join in with you.
Hey, we appreciate you taking your time to come here and talk to Kim and I, as well as the listeners, and we look forward to hearing, some of the past, the present, and the future.
Well, I don't have a crystal ball about the future, but always good to have projects.
Goals.
Yeah.
Goals.
Absolutely goals. That's
goals.
Right.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, well, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, okay, this is where I always say, okay, I'm gonna hand the questions over to Kim, and she'll fire them away, and I, as always, will follow along and ask them myself.
Absolutely. Looking forward to you chiming in with all of your insights along the way. Tonight, of course, we have Lisa with us. Lisa Cahn, you and I are alumni at McMaster University, and that's when we really started communicating more frequently. I've known who you are for a very long time, but we really started communicating more frequently after I enrolled in that course that you took. You had taken it prior to me, and when you found out I was in it, you reached out and said, I did this, Kim, I can help you. If you need me help, reach out and let me know. And since then, I've gotten to know you a little bit better. And man, my dear, you got your fingers in all kinds of pies out there, from politics to cannabis and everything in between. But your real passion is, of course, educating people about the science of cannabis, which is why you're continuing your education at McMaster University. Please tell us an overview of Lisa and what's driving you, what's behind this driving force with your continuing education and drive to tell the masses about cannabis.
Okay, well, first of all, when it comes to McMaster's, I'll just clarify it was a one-year program that divided into 3 courses, and I completed all 3 and got the infamous piece of paper with my name on it, and that I finished last year. It's been already a year. I can't believe it's gone by. Doing my last term at the start of the pandemic was quite a challenge it's a bit of a marathon. You start these courses and you don't really know what you're signing up for, what part of your life you're signing away. I don't know. How did you find all the reading, Kim? There was a lot.
It was a lot of time. It was very time consuming. That's why I took a pause before I take my final one. I didn't sign up for the final one yet because I'm just far too busy right now for the time that's needed to be dedicated to this course. It's quite in depth. You've got a lot of reading to do. There's a lot of studying to do. You're not just sitting in a classroom and walking away with a piece of paper. You actually have to learn some shit.
Yeah, you literally have to wrap your brain around how to wrap your brain around cannabis. So,
if in a different light, in a completely different manner than what, as a patient and a cannabis community member, my views on cannabis and the direction, the feel of the direction of the course, the direction that they're trying to push your mind into going, did not jive with my personal views on cannabis, let's say. So I really struggled with getting that course done, where I could actually get a passing grade sort of a thing, because I really wanted to push back with the curriculum.
Yeah, I hear you on that. It's very frustrating and discouraging when you find out about how academia works. They
have a definite goal for their direction.
Yeah, and how political it is. And you talk about, what I've done in my past. As you say, I wear many hats, whether it be politics, marketing, hypnosis, cannabis, how to use an Excel file. I've touched many things in my life. A lot of it is about education and teaching and training people how to understand anything from data analysis and how to understand numbers when it comes to, let's say, a sales department. So, understanding numbers and understanding how systems work, numbers are straightforward. Understanding the politics behind them, not so straightforward.
Right.
And of course, cannabis is a very political subject for a number of reasons. So between the pharmaceuticals and the outside of Canada world watching what cannabis legalization can look like, because it's, we're not the first or second country, so but we're the first big country to do this, and so others have to learn from us, and hopefully we can teach the world a little bit.
Yeah, I think I was very surprised with how much politics, bias, and misinformation, outright misinformation, was involved in a university level course.
And bias, thank you for bringing up that word, because when it comes down to it, that was what disappointed me, or disappoints me the most.
Yeah.
Is when you see all the medical research, the amount of bias in that, and it's obviously in the cannabis world, it's extra bias.
Yeah.
Because where they get the cannabis, how it's used in studies, all that is completely biased. But all medical research, how incredibly biased it is. They do studies mostly on men more than on women in general. They, tend to leave out minorities and treat the world as if it's all falls well into one category. And of course, we know pharmaceutical companies and politicians and global partners or global people, actors on the scene. It all has a huge influence. It's a huge ball of wool that is very tightly wound.
Yeah.
Very complicated.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. With the courses that we both took, the focus on studies, like they would tell you, okay, this is what I want you to look at. You have to write a paper on this subject, and for this subject, here are acceptable pieces of literature for you to obtain the information for your piece. And the only ones that were acceptable pieces of literature were one-sided articles or science that has previous science studies that have been done on that particular subject, and they'd all be one-sided. And it was like, okay, but after those studies were done, other studies were done that disproved the one that you want me to use.
Yeah, well, that's part of teaching us how to use critical thinking too, of being able to, within the limitation, and that's very real world like, of within limitations of reality, even though we know that things are different, it takes time to push, educate the whole world, and whether it be on cannabis or any subject, it takes time to bring the level up. But obviously, my fun was taking a paper and destroying it. My first paper that I wrote, that one of these days I should publish is somewhere, I'm not sure where, was taking a study done by Mark Ware about cannabis and pain. And I came up with 19 reasons why, errors, and why this published paper that has been that's been cited hundreds of times within other research papers, how this initial building block is wrong, and that other research that is being built on that basis is starting off with a biased, wrong, error-filled study. And very proud.
You can't have a building without a foundation.
Well, there you go, and that the foundation of the is full of mistakes. I found not only tactical errors, but actual, publishing errors. And these are supposed to be peer-reviewed studies. How come nobody found that they had published the same table by, it looked like accidental, that they put in twice, they put in the same negative effects of what cannabis can do. And nobody found that error except, I pointed out, and you'd think that this published paper would have been adjusted over time to find those errors, reviewed by peers. No.
But no, it's not. So, and they will continue to use it with university level education courses. And that's what sticks in me. It's like, okay, well, that's been disproven. Why is it still in the curriculum?
Yeah, well, again, to see how many people can discredit it, until enough people realize that it can be discredited, they won't tolerate it anymore. Students will revolt.
That was a study that talked about pain, and it involved 21 patients, and I believe it had a positive outcome. Did it not?
It did in general, but again, there were so many errors in the way that it was done, and remind me, Kim, and I can send you the study and my comments on it. I should be able to pull it up, but I don't have it in front of me. Maybe by the end of the show, if you're still interested. But it's the fact that even when there's positive outcomes, for example, Mark Mayer himself went on to work for, was it Canopy or what? He
correct.
Sold out.
Yeah, Canopy.
So, these are supposed to be researchers, and clearly they're following the money trail. So, you go with, okay, was it really unbiased? Was it self-serving? Even if the results are positive, and that diminishes.
Yeah, we have to call out the bad science, no matter which side it's on. There's people that are going to pad the numbers for their own personal gain, even if it benefits our cause. If it's baseless science, then we have to call that out. I understand what you're saying, and it is happening on both sides. For sure, it is happening on both sides. And that muddies the waters. That's all it does is muddies the waters, right?
Exactly.
In the end. It doesn't do any of us any favors, that's for sure. But there's a lot of discrepancies when it comes to our education system now, and it's really been a thorn in my side. It was enlightening for me to take those courses at McMaster to see what they're teaching. Our up-and-coming entrepreneurs, our up-and-coming scientists, our up-and-coming professionals that are entering this space. These are the courses that they're taking to learn. So now I know why we're going in the direction that we're going, because this is what we're taught.
Yes. Well, and not enough people have the discipline to be able to learn that critical thinking, to be able to judge and call out what is, right and see all the different sides. Because it's not about right and wrong. It's about understanding how things work.
Yeah.
And and that Canada and McMaster's have a university level program is in itself a wonderful thing. I mean, there's many positives to it as well.
Yes.
And getting to know some of the people in the courses, when you take the courses, and to see there are a lot of professionals, doctors and nurses and whatnot.
I was surprised. I actually, in my course, there were 3 doctors.
Yeah. Oh, many more. I think when I took it, there were, 70% of them were in the medical field.
Yeah, well, there are other medical fields as well, but actual doctors. There were 3 actual doctors that were like, GPs that were learning this to benefit their patients. So that impressed the hell out of me.
And unfortunately, we don't necessarily know the age of all the people, because when you read through, people post who they are and what they do and all that. And some of them are young doctors, but I suspect some are also older doctors and people who didn't get to learn for, what they're teaching in medical school these days. Something like this, they may take read 30 hours worth, they may do 30 minutes worth because it's only part of what they're learning. So this is a way for hopefully, young and old doctors and professionals to learn a bit of what's going on. But, there were chat boards and stuff, and, it was interesting to see the discussions. So I think they're, opening up the discussion between the different professions and people, because there were people like us, in the culture and, different perspective. Because I don't know about how you felt, but I definitely felt none of the teachers had ever smoked a joint in their life.
That's for sure.
You kind of have to
none of my profs had a clue. None of my profs had a clue. That's for sure. It's
or they're not allowed to express it. Because remember, it's all, again, it comes back to politics. McMaster's is very tied in with the federal government. I mean, they're the ones who kind of wrote the policy for legalization when it came to the medical side, and still their medical schools is very much tied to Canadian policy. And even when it comes to the pandemic, I mean, the research coming out of Hamilton is very good. I mean, but there are some good sides to this.
Yes.
Yes. And
absolutely.
We're moving everything forward.
Yeah, it's a work in progress for sure. It was definitely eye-opening taking that course in more ways than one. I did learn a few things that I wasn't aware of before, and I didn't think I'd walk away with much not extra knowledge. I thought, they're not really going to be able to tell me much, but let's see what this is all about. So I was pleasantly surprised. I did learn a few things, but I was blown away by the level of just political interference and agenda. There was definitely an agenda, and that really bothered me. And I had a hard time getting past that to see anything else.
Well, in reality of whether it be in business, politics, medicine, whatever, everybody has an agenda to a certain extent. Nobody is really agenda free except perhaps a few monks in Tibet or something, right? We all have what we want to see. Back to the word you used earlier that I love is goals. We all have goals of achievement.
Yeah.
And, it's hard on this one little planet for us to all work together. And some people push harder than others.
Yep, that is for sure. So, I mean, since McMaster, you continued. I mean, you've been all over the place, and we're almost at break time. I don't want to start a new conversation.
I understand.
I just looked up at the clock and I went, wait a second.
You couldn't get another minute worth of ums in or anything like that?
How about we just giggle for 30 seconds?
No, we can giggle for a minute.
We'll go for break, and we'll use the extra time on the other side.
Sounds good.
All right. Kim and I will continue our conversation with our guest, Lisa Cahn. This is the Pace Radio Show, and we are live here at paceradio.net.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. Visit our hydroponics superstore at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville, and we'll show you how to grow your own quality cannabis for pennies per gram. We're open Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 613-967-9888. BMA Hydroponics. It's worth the drive.
The only way to go.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Are you interested in Canadian and international cannabis news? If you are, then catch myself, Kim Cooper, and Al Graham for our live reefer report on the Pace Radio Network, found at paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. The values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Once again, peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Check them out.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. And we're back, and we are the Pace Radio Show, and we are live here at paceradio.net. Today on the program, we're joined by our guest, cannabis educator and speaker, Lisa Cahn, and my joint host, Northern Ontario, Kim Cooper, is here as well. Well, ladies, the first segment there, we talked about a lot of the experience of university courses of cannabis, and the good, the bad, the ugly. Where are we going to head to now there, Kim?
Yeah, well, I figured we'd dive into, what Lisa's got going on for her little enterprises that she's got going on. I know you got your fingers in so many pies, and there's several, subsets that are underneath one header, but everything is basically under Frapp Marketing, right?
Correct. It's a long history. I started my business as a consultant in marketing and advertising over 20 years ago. Actually, 2020 was my 20th anniversary. Let's just go with the party to celebrate was not happening because there was a pandemic.
Yes.
So I have done consulting and working with small and medium-sized businesses and individuals and large companies for many years. And when I decided to take this course in cannabis, I decided to. It's kind of complicated, but not really. From politics, I skipped over the politics part, but that's kind of important. In 2012, I ran with the Green Party of Quebec in Westmount Ville Marie of Montreal, and in 2014 I did it again, and in 2015 I ran federally as an independent. And the reason why I bring all this up is because I became an activist. I became a vocal person to hope to give my voice to the cannabis world. And
nice.
Interestingly enough, it's a small world. And one of the people who inspired me quite a bit that I met back in, I want to say 2009 or 10, I can't remember now exactly, is Loretta Clark, who you had on today.
Yes,
and
yes.
she and I became great friends, and we have our other pal Marty, and we do a lot of things together. And since I was, the actual candidate, I got a lot of information from them. I mean, not only as a consumer of cannabis, but from the point of view of politics and how to work this. So they were great helpers and advisors, and through that association, we developed or whatever came up with the idea of putting a Facebook channel. Now, it started back in, I think, 2018, before legalization. Could have been 2017 even. And as a Facebook channel, to express all things, our voice. Vox Pop is the Latin or something for the popular voice. And so we made a play on words and called it Vox Pop to talk about everything about cannabis. And so that's the Facebook page, Vox Pop Canada. Started that with Loretta, and it kind of lay low for a little while. We were both busy, other things going on, and then after I took the McMaster's course, I decided to use this channel, Vox Pop, to do educational sessions. So I came up with my little show, my weekly show that I did for 26 weeks, two seasons, Cannabis Street, and that, based a little bit on Sesame Street with a little bit of humor and fun, but in a way to teach and to help people learn through humor and to demystify cannabis use.
Nice.
And also, with in 2019, I received a government grant from Health Canada, a micro grant, to promote cannabis awareness. And so that also fit in really well with the show that I did. And so I did that for, like I said, 26 weeks. It's intense. You guys are amazing doing your bi-weekly shows or your twice-weekly shows or whatever, at least. And it's a lot of work putting together a show on a weekly basis.
It is.
It is.
We have several shows on the network here that we take care of. Al and I both do several per week. So yeah, it's a lot of work.
And actually, we're not done. You mentioned Loretta Clark, right?
Right.
In the coming weeks, Loretta is going to be joining us in a new program that she's working with.
Yes, I saw that today. It's very exciting.
Yeah, her and Tamara. So there you go. I'm sure you'll be back. I just had another program.
So.
Exactly.
I would love to do this more often if if the audience is interested.
Yeah, well, for sure. You have a lot of information to share. That's for sure. Now, the weekly seminars that you did, the shows were also broadcasted on Cannabis Street. They were also broadcasted on KGL TV, right?
I don't know if it was TV at the time, but definitely through Kelly initially.
Yeah.
That's how I started.
Yeah.
And then I found a variety of other wonderful groups. Out of the Closet Cannabis Club. I'm sure you know Carol Francie. She's amazing.
Yeah.
And Jacob Pastino with Anyone Can Grow Cannabis. That was one of my happy moments of, I almost got kicked out of that group because someone said I was promoting or something. And then I had a conversation with him saying, listen, I'm just talking about my shows. I'm talking about education. I'm not selling anything. Mm-hmm. And it ended up on, and by the way, because at the time it was called Anyone Can Grow Marijuana. And I said, and by the way, it shouldn't be marijuana, but cannabis. And he said, you have to make a good point. I'll put a vote to the group. And the group had a vote, and they voted in cannabis instead of the word marijuana.
Nice.
So,
education continues, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's also what McMaster's taught us a bit, is that we have to continue to promote the proper use of words and understanding the history of why the words are different, and educating, because a lot of people just don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
We are firm believers in the use of proper terminology here as well. We always use cannabis, even on our show, The Reefer Reporters. If I'm reading a news article and they use the word marijuana, then most times I will substitute it with the word cannabis, unless it's a direct quote.
Yeah, we're all like that. From what I've noticed, a lot of times. The word is just automatically switched because it's just the way we all feel about it. Yeah, it's nothing we talked about, and it was nothing we, it was nothing we talked about. It was just something that we just all just did automatically.
Yeah. Well, this is part of having advocates like Loretta and I beforehand. We've been talking about this for years, and it seems like it's only been recently, but, this is in the background prior to legalization, prior to all this multiplication of information about cannabis and education, and because of legalization, some of us were doing all this prior to that. Dana Larson, another great influencer, who really changed the face of help make this a different discussion. I mean, we wouldn't be having this discussion if it weren't for some of these people,
Yeah. That's right. Absolutely. So Cannabis Street was a huge success. A lot of people really enjoyed the information coming off of that. Vox Pot, it carries on Facebook, and you're still doing it. You're still educating and driving forward. What's plates are spinning next? What's next?
You got me right there. I'm working on a new project, but it's not really. It's been going on in my mind for a number of years. Another hat that I wear is I'm a hypnotherapist. And that goes back to 2015. I became a certified hypnotherapist, and it wasn't quite a university course, Kim, but intense nonetheless. It was, I think about 6 weeks long, and with lots of practice and theory and stuff, and fascinating. And initially, I did it for personal reasons. And kind of similar to taking the course at McMaster's, I did it initially for my own personal education and interest, and then realized, I have something to share. I can help people.
Yeah.
And so I can do hypnosis for all sorts of things, and I do daily hypnosis, self-hypnosis for myself as a tool for a number of things, whether it be, and this is where it gets interesting, because cannabis and hypnosis both are medical research and evidence-based science that proves that they reduce pain and anxiety. And these are the two biggest things that both cannabis and hypnosis are used for. And to use them together is kind of like a double whammy.
So you're combining the two, cannabis and hypnosis.
Yeah. I'm going to be offering it's in its final work, probably an 8-week course that will, do a little bit of a mix of the McMaster's course and how to become a hypnotherapist, and, learning techniques as well as learning the theory. How to smoke a joint will be in there in case you didn't know how.
Yeah, I'm looking at the poster. Vox Pot Canada presents Cannabis and Hypnosis, a powerful combo. Lovely little budding plant there with some psychedelic swirls around it. A 90-minute introduction to an 8-week course. There's an evidence-based science, and this is taking place Sunday, May 16th. In 2021 at 4 p.m. So you'll get a 90-minute introduction on this is what the 8-week course is going to entail. And then people can decide whether or not they take the course. Is that how this works?
That's pretty much you nailed it. Thank you for saying it out loud, because this is brand new and I haven't published it yet. The poster is only my second draft or third draft, so I'm hoping it's going to be. I might need to do a little touch-ups there, a few touch-ups, but basically that's what it's going to be. I haven't quite worked out if the introduction, there may be a cost that may be deductible. If you take the 8-week course, then the introduction session will be deducted, something like that. I have to obviously
working out the details still. Yeah,
I still have to iron out a few details, but
Yeah.
of course this is kind of the preview, and I will, as soon as I get it finalized, I will send you a press release to Pace Radio, an official press release.
Awesome.
Probably within the next 2 weeks. I'm hoping to have it all finalized by May 1st. It's been, pandemic times and stuff. Everything is always deadlines and things keep getting changed on us, right? So we have to adapt as best as we can.
Absolutely. I mean, these two things, they really do go hand in hand. Cannabis goes hand in hand with so many other things out there. We've got a new show on the network on psychedelics, and people's like, psychedelics? Well, what's that got to do with cannabis? Well, it's all natural therapy, right? And hypnosis falls into the same category. It's natural therapy. You're using something natural, a natural element, or something that is not chemically based. You're not introducing a chemical or a compound to your body to achieve a result. You're using natural means.
Exactly. It's very much, it's and partly why it's, psychedelics, absolutely true, but any drug that affects our brain, anything that affects our brain, whether it be exercise or drugs or breathing, it's kind of all happening up in our brain. Now, I like to say also, is our endocannabinoid system, which I'm sure is even more important than our brain, because the endocannabinoid system manages all the systems. The brain functions to our digestive system, to our circadian rhythms, and but the endocannabinoid system is affected by being alive, and breathing is the most important thing. Without breathing, you don't have anything. And hypnosis is based on breathing. It's all about following your own breath and listening to your breath and teaching your body how to breathe and to heal from just that. And, I always thought that our brains could probably heal any of our ailments. I mean, we are self-healing units. We have a cut, we go to sleep, we wake up, and the cut is healed.
Right.
You see it on babies, it happens in an hour. As you get older, of course, it's slower to heal, but we're self-healing units. And it's while we sleep, in general, that we heal. And learning how to sleep. So, I mentioned anxiety and pain. Sleep is number 3 of the 3 things that, we need to work on to stay healthy.
Yep. Cannabis being, of course, as you said, a big part of that. Our endocannabinoid system regulates our entire bodies, creating homeostasis. That's the ultimate goal here, is to create homeostasis. And there are many avenues that can help get you there. Meditation, use of psychedelics for calming of the mind and opening of the third eye and all of that. And, hypnosis can alleviate many of these symptoms as well.
Absolutely. The calming of the mind, you mentioned earlier, I'll bring back the word because I wrote it down, goals. The only difference between meditation and hypnosis, or one of the main differences, if not the only one, is that during hypnosis you set a goal. And and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way, because while you're in a hypnotic state or in a very relaxed state, your mind is more open to suggestion. And so when you suggest a goal, it becomes, kind of like a dream that becomes reality. And the more you think about it, it's like riding a bike. You just keep pedaling the same idea, it goes forward. And so, and if healing, whatever needs to be healed, or pain reduction or anxiety reduction, teaching your mind how to achieve the goal, and, it's attainable.
Yeah. So
the power is in our mind.
So how would cannabis be combined with the hypnotherapy? Is there like a protocol behind that? Like, do you consume and then you embark on this hypnotic trek, or like what's the procedure?
There is no. I don't think there is a protocol. This is still new in that sense, and it would more likely be a recommendation that, depending on what your level of comfort is, if you're not a cannabis consumer versus a regular cannabis consumer, your reactions are going to be different.
Right.
I consume cannabis daily basis often, and so I can do hypnosis whether I'm on cannabis or not.
Right.
But definitely it would be something where you learn that while you're smoking, you incorporate techniques from when you're doing hypnosis. It's like you kind of make them work together.
Right. What were you going to say, Al?
Yeah, several years ago I did a ganja yoga experience, or had a ganja yoga experience. And we vaporized with volcano vaporizers before we got into the yoga. And, that was that before experience that you were talking about, as far as, before you would do to get into hypnosis. Being, if you're a patient, you're meditating throughout the day. But, yeah, for somebody who is, a blue moon smoker, somebody who's, maybe once a month type thing, for them to do hypnosis in cannabis, would that not be an enlightening experience as well? Combining them?
I would hope so. I would hope so. And that's part of the guidance that and to do this live, hopefully one of these days, the pandemic will be gone or at least modified. But of course, in the moment, I can do this virtually, through live video, and so I can at least be there to guide for someone, for example, who is a newbie in smoking, then or in consuming in whatever fashion, to be the because hypnosis is also known as guided meditation.
Yeah,
so
that was going to be my next question. Isn't the type of hypnosis that you're talking about? It's almost a self-hypnosis. So isn't that like a deep meditation?
It is, and as I said before, it's the difference of taking you on a guided journey in meditation of just to empty your mind completely. In hypnosis, you want to not quite fill it up, but you want to put in a space for that goal that you want to achieve. Meditation, whether it be guided or independent, doing it yourself, you're trying to completely free your mind of anything. And that's a slightly different area that you're going to go into. But to get into that state is the same process.
Right.
And to get into that feeling of relaxed and breathing and not focusing on anything else but the task at hand, with hypnotherapy, I mean, there's also, hypnosis can be done, it can be different things. There could, a lot of people, when you say the word hypnosis, they think stage hypnosis and jumping around like a duck, right?
Right.
In hypnotherapy that I do, there's no jumping around like a duck. It's not my goal. It's not what I want to personally achieve, and I don't think that's what I want to help people achieve. If that's what they really want to do, go. I have other suggestions. Go but yeah, so
you're using it
guiding
for
someone and
learning
how
for healing
to,
purposes.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Be aware of your body, like when you're smoking or inhaling or vaping, you become aware of your body parts.
Yes.
Particularly, back of your hand is a famous one. I don't know why, but it's very common. People suddenly look at the back of their hand and examine and focus, and we become hyper-focused. And that's similar when you're in a hypnotic state, you sort of become hyper-focused on one thing. And with the goal and to achieve that goal. A visualization of how you want to achieve your goal. Whether it be weight loss or, stopping cigarette smoking or just generally, as I said earlier, reducing your anxiety, sleeping better. Everything sort of falls into place when you sleep better. It starts with sleep.
Sure does. And like you mentioned, visualizing yourself doing things, to reach your goals in order to get there and stuff like that. That's all positive thought as well.
And that's what hypnosis is. It's the power of positive thinking in the form of hypnotherapy. Again, I do also like to qualify, with that goal of being therapeutic.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah, that's like you say, most people think of it as someone walking around like a duck, or what you would see on TV when it comes to, maybe a movie or some reality show type thing, and not as a therapeutic way.
That's right. Yeah, and it's not that kind of hypnosis at all, folks.
And the science is behind the therapy. When the way the medical industry and not just the regular medical doctors and all use a form of hypnosis in their therapy, but particularly obviously in psychotherapy. Hypnosis is a tool that is often used to achieve all sorts of homeostasis of the brain, and it's been done for decades, if not centuries, and it can be very powerful and helpful. And many people, it's something that is, a lot of people want results in one session, and it's kind of not really how it works. It's part of integrating it into your lifestyle, just like anything else that you want to change in your life. You make a change, and you have to integrate these different aspects into the way you think until it becomes second nature.
Yep, absolutely. And there's so many ways that we can advance homeostasis within us and, advance our health, advance our understanding of all of this stuff. There are so many avenues that are available now. VoxPot has so many things that are available. Information is power, as they say. I'm going to quote Green Irene for a moment and say information is power, and you're providing a ton of that and adding in all of these other elements such as self-hypnosis is just adding another element of bringing peace to oneself naturally.
I love that word, Kim, peace. I mean, really? Maybe we're hippies at heart and hippies in various ways, but peace. I mean, really, all the world needs is peace. I'm quoting, I think, John Lennon.
Yeah.
And if we can find peace of mind, and the mind and the body are our brains and our bodies are connected.
That's right.
And a very common hypnotic statement that was used in what the mind believes, the body will follow.
That's right.
And the more you repeat that, the more you realize it's absolute, and what the body does, the mind will believe as well. A lot of it has to do with belief. And if you believe you deserve to feel at peace and that you want to feel at peace, then you can achieve that. And hopefully whenever, as individual walking units, if we're all peaceful, imagine the world.
That's it, eh? I mean, homeostasis. I mean, that's what we're striving for with health. Your mind is part of that. You can't have healthy body without a healthy mind.
Exactly. And it's very hard for our minds to stay healthy in a polluted world. I mean, our world is corrupt. Our world is polluted, and it's very difficult to find that, and we're full of contradictions as well,
Yes.
We're humans, and it brings back to those medical research studies, when they look at 21 people or even 200 people, it's still not enough because we're still so unique. And to be grouped together, even biologically, I think there's far more exceptions that science has yet to admit to.
Yeah, there are very few rules anymore. There are more exceptions, most definitely more exceptions than there are rules in today's world. We see that very clearly, I think.
If we're all different, we all react differently to other things. Otherwise, we'd all be robots, right?
Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't want to live in that world anyway.
That's right, exactly. All right, well, it's time for us to take a break. It's the top of the hour.
It's medication time. Yay!
That's right. Exactly.
I'm in there with you.
All right, sounds good. We when it comes here to the Pace Radio Network, it's, medicating during work is something that we don't frown against. There's no doubt about that.
That's
right. All right. When we return, Kim and I will continue our conversation with a guest, Lisa Cahn. You're listening to the Pace Radio Show. We are live here at paceradio.net.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888. And grow on with CP.
Pace Radio is the people advocating cannabis education radio network.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. The values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada.ca. Once again, People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada.ca. Check them out.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Hey, welcome back, and thanks for tuning in to the Pace Radio Show. We are live here at paceradio.net as well as at paceradioshow.com. We do it every Wednesday night, and you'll find myself as well as Kim Cooper or Julie Corral here joining me as joint hosts and talking about guests. And talking about guests tonight, we are joined by Lisa Cahn, and Kim is here as well. And I know we're gonna get some more conversation about the last segment. Plus, we're gonna get into some new stuff as well.
Yeah, Kim is sort of here.
Sort of. I didn't talk long enough.
I knew you were dragging it on for me. I really appreciate that.
I tried.
That's what I get for being a greedy bitch. I went for a double header, ladies and
gentlemen.
I did a double header over the break, and I'm just catching my breath. Al did his best.
Keep laughing. You've got a great laugh, Tim. Great laugh.
There you go.
Love it.
Get your breath. Calm down.
I'm good.
This is where Lisa's got to come in and
teach me how to breathe.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Well, if you're laughing, you're breathing. But you might be breathing out more than in, so you got to balance it out with taking a few breaths there, and But you were breathing in your dab, so you're balancing it out and finding homeostasis one way or another. You're doing fine.
As long as I keep breathing in dabs and laughing that I'm fine, well, then I'm rocking this shit.
And you certainly are. You know how contagious laughter is. It's wonderful, isn't it?
It sure is.
Yeah, well, I try and keep everybody laughing as much as possible. It just makes life just so much better.
Makes for a better world.
Whenever you can.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. For sure. Besides laughing, we've talked a lot about what you do, with Vox Pod and with Frap. You do a lot of speaking engagements, several speaking engagements as well. Want to talk a little bit about that before I get into my next topic with you. Tell me about some of the topics you've covered.
Speaking engagements topics. Are you talking? Well, I've done many discussions on over the years in marketing on advertising and how the internet works and social media. And I did one of my favorite speaking engagements was for a client who this was back in I think 2009, prior to how you if rewind. If I were to go back in time, you wouldn't realize how much technology has advanced in those 11 or 12 years, but it's incredible.
It is.
And back in the day, I did this presentation called From A to Z on advertising and social media. And when it got to the letter G, it was all about Google. And Google was kind of just starting then. And
yeah, it was new.
Different. Now, it's a whole new world. So that was a great experience to, share with people how, but advertising hasn't really changed, even through all the technology and all that. So it was fascinating talk. I've also, of course, done speaking engagements on cannabis and demystifying the myths and facts. Easier written the words myths and facts on paper than it is to pronounce myths and facts. But that's one of the presentations that I give. And yeah, from political debates, all sorts of things. Clearly, I like to talk. I've been told, I should have been a radio station myself. It's fun. It's fun to be able to share information and get out there.
But I mean, all of those past things, they're building blocks for where you are today, right?
Of course. Yeah. Everything that I'm going to tease you a bit of French. My that you call the sentence like a when you smoke in the middle of in the middle of a break, you start to lose your words after the break. In my yearbook at university, my first degree is in marketing from 1989, which ages me, of course. And in the yearbook, I wrote the quote of "On ne se lasse jamais d'apprendre," and what that means in English is that we should never tire of learning, and it's become my motto forever. I didn't even realize it. I was, in my 20s. I didn't realize what my life would be back then, and of course, much has changed. But I realized it was a great motto to have, and it's served me well. And I like learning, and I think that's the important part for how, you were talking about earlier, Kim, about how disappointing the university course was in some ways. But we all learn something, and hopefully as we learn, things progress positively, and that's enjoyable. So a lot of the things that I've done is about a learning process. Getting into politics, that was a huge learning curve.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
I learned a lot of things, and some of my best moments, not quite a speaking engagement per se, but at the NDP convention back in 2010, when I got a high five from Jack Layton for putting education back into their constitution of their General Assembly. All their subcommittees had taken out from the wording education of the members, and I was you have to put education in there. The most important thing is if you don't have the education of the people from the start, then you're working all in ignorance, and nothing can be gained from that.
100%. Education, it's exercise for the brain. We have to exercise all of our body, not just the physical, but also the mental. It's all part and parcel. Like we were talking about homeostasis and cannabinoid therapy helping us achieve homeostasis. Meditation and self-hypnosis and the use of psychedelics for those that are having trauma, suffering from traumas of the mind. All of these things are treatments for the mind. Education is the exercise for the mind.
Exactly, because to be able to incorporate these things, and this is one of the things I'm going to be doing in my course, is that you have to practice. You have to do the tests and the exercises and write those essays, no matter how hard they are sometimes, or how frustrating.
Yes.
But
you have to push through.
That's how we learn.
There's expansion there of the mind. One way or another, you're getting something out of it.
Yeah, and by writing things down and practicing and doing little exercises, memory games, it's great for your mind. There's lots of research into different ways to exercise your mind, and play, of course, is one of the best things. By playing, you're having fun. That's the best way to learn. Yep. And cannabis helps you with that because, it gets you into a playful mood often.
Yes.
And that's how, because it's education about other things, but more importantly, first is education about your own yourself, understanding how your own body works and what doesn't work, and listening to your own body.
Yeah.
And so, it's about that. So it's all about sharing and speaking of sharing, I'm doing a segue, something you brought up, of experiences with 420.
Yes, well, we are the day after the high holiday. It's 421, the high holiday. That's right. Today is, of course, 421. And it's funny. Other holidays that are out there for other things, people wind up with a hangover today. Today is not a good day for holidayers of other holidays. Today is the day where everybody's holding their head. The cannabis hangover. The cannabis hangover does exist. I am experiencing the cannabis hangover. The cannabis hangover does exist. But yes, it does exist. But the difference is that you're relaxed, you're pain-free, and you're content. You're just really tired.
So
happy 421, right?
Well, we've done a lot of not only consuming a little bit more than, we've challenged our body. That's part of it, because, when you celebrate, you're challenging your body into doing something a little bit more than usual. And celebrating with cannabis, your body is receiving the extra celebration. It's going to be tiresome.
Yes.
So for sure. And of course, we get together and it's emotional, and it's all sorts of things, because holidays bring along emotions with it too.
Yes.
And for better, for worse, as they say.
Yeah, so the cannabis hangover does exist, but I'll take it any day of the week over an alcohol hangover, okay?
I don't think I've ever had an alcohol. I'm one of those nerds. I don't really drink alcohol. I have had some in my life, but I don't think I've ever had a hangover.
Oh, I used to drink. It's been many, many years for me, but I used to drink, and I used to drink quite a lot. And I know exactly what a hangover is, and it's not something I miss.
Yeah, well, this is it's possibly because I heard so much about those hangovers that I never actually wanted to drink enough to get one. And,
yeah.
The fear of it put an end to it.
Yeah, the hangover is what put an end to it for me. I had one hangover one day, and I said, that's it, never again. And it has been never again. So I meant it when I said it.
When you put your mind to something, you put your mind to something, you succeed.
I meant it when I said it. Never again. So, but now I celebrate, of course, 420 along with everybody else. Now, this year being very different, it was virtual for everyone. Everyone here anyway. Other countries did other things, but here in Canada, it was virtual. So we talked a lot yesterday on the air about past experiences with 420, and this still being 420 week. I thought I'd touch base with you on that. So yeah, tell us about, is there one 420 in particular, that stands out?
There are two. One that I went to the Montreal 420 for many years, in good weather and in bad weather. As I think Loretta said in her show today with Tamara about, there was snow in Montreal today.
There was snow here.
April, exactly. And last week we had, hot weather. But in April, typical of Canada, we have all four seasons in April. So, I've been to some really cold 420s, and they're always on the mountain in Montreal, so it's a great spot. And I think the first one probably is my most memorable. As I said, I don't remember what year it was. I want to see, and Loretta was there with our friend Marty. To me, that first time ever seeing that giant mushroom cloud of cannabis smoke just literally blew me away. And being, I think, the first one is just, and it was pre-legalization. I'm not sure what year, though. I have to think back a little more, and I haven't thought back. But I've been to a few others that were rainy and muddy, and some that were nice weather. But it's often been hit or miss when it comes to weather. But I think my if not my second or my first most memorable, it was in 2019. It was the first 420 after legalization, and I went to Vancouver, and to be on that beach for
So you were at Sunset with the band with Cypress Hill. Cypress Hill,
yeah. I kind of heard them in a distance. I had some friends back in Montreal who were like seriously jealous, and I listened and went with, I'm not a big Cypress Hill fan. But I went to, and I was there with my brother, and this also has my brother passed away last year, so it's become kind of a fond memory to be able to go to our first ever 420 together, and sadly our last. And of course, so it was memorable too, be on that level. But just to see, because in Montreal, totally different feel. Montreal, you have a lot of people and virtually no vendors. The last the last time I went, in that they had a live virtual one that I was at in 2018, I guess they had the first ever dab tent. And before that, in 2017, there was nothing. It was just people. Occasionally, you had the regular. I shouldn't say they had some salespeople, but it's more like what I want to call the street people, but not exactly street people, that sell paraphernalia in old Montreal. So you have your pipes and things section, and your Indian tapestry section, and it's very granola-y, for lack of a better word. But no major sponsors or any big thing, or and no tents or anything like that. I go to Vancouver, and it's wall-to-wall tents, miles long along the beach, or at least it seemed that way.
In Vancouver, 420 in 2019 was over double what it normally is, and that was because of Cypress Hill. That event was the biggest this country's ever seen.
Yeah, well, it was the first one post legalization.
Yeah,
as well. So it was, that they got Cypress Hill is was the big thing, but it was also that this was the first time that it was legal, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, they were expecting 25,000, and then they announced Cypress Hill, and it went insane. It was over double. They topped 60,000 there in 2019.
And it was overwhelming, I must admit. I mean, I went with my brother, who's 12 years older than me, and so a little bit. Definitely a cannabis toker himself. If he wasn't the one who introduced me to it at the age of 5, anyway, that's another story. And so, we did a little bit. We both had enough. We went back up to whatever street it was at the top and went for lunch. And then he went home for a nap. And I said, oh, well, I have to go back down just at least to say that I went to try and see, because the Cypress Hill wasn't there yet. I went back down to try and see them and whatever. But just to go, to go and spend a little time on my own, because it was very overwhelming to spend more than, and it was hot too. It was a hot summer day in Vancouver on April 20th back in that year.
Yeah.
So especially coming from Montreal, and very sunny and crowded.
Nice though. Great memory.
Pandemic. Yeah, definitely great memory. But in this time, we don't want to be in crowds of people because of pandemic, and I've developed that, I don't really want to be near people. But even before then, before now, being in a huge crowd of people, you have to also remember I'm barely 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
I can't see over people. I'm over 50 when the average age down there was 30 less. So, a little bit overwhelming. So, I can only do it in small portions, but definitely my most memorable.
Awesome. Oh,
It was a great one.
fantastic memory. Fantastic. That was a huge crowd. I know I watched in awe with my jaw on the floor. It was just an amazing thing to see from afar. I wasn't part of it. I didn't get out there for that one. But man, what a thing to see and to be a part of it. That's an amazing memory for you for sure. Fantastic.
That whole weekend was I just went for a weekend, for like a 4-day weekend to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Spontaneously, and there was for all sorts of other reasons. But so yeah, it was that whole weekend it's not quite a blur, it's quite kind of slow motion of so much
whirlwind.
Yeah,
I know the feeling. I was in Vancouver for the Mom Cup. I can't even remember what year that was, 2016 or 2017 or something. And I was there for the Mom Cup, and it was the same thing. It was a whirlwind weekend. It was 4 days of just go, 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 and then get back on the plane. It was like, holy shit, what just happened? You know, you're thinking about it on the plane ride on the way home, and you're like, holy fuck.
I have to. You're reminding me of all sorts of other things that happened. I'm gonna have to write all this down before I get too old to forget all the amazing stories of things that happened.
Yeah, I know, I hear you. You're there for a short time, so you try and cram it all in, right? It's like sleep. I'll sleep on the plane. It's okay, let's go.
I didn't even plan on cramming out. I really hadn't. I was quite the opposite. I went there with like no real plans whatsoever, and things just got crammed in on its own, like without my asking. Things kept happening.
It just happens. Well, you're in Vancouver. That's what happens in Vancouver.
It is one of my favorite cities. I mean, I have lots of friends and family there, so it's it's a whole different feeling. And I've been going to Vancouver. I mean, I'm a Montrealer through and through, but I've been going to Vancouver for decades, many times, and I have very strong feelings. I almost moved there once.
Yeah.
And so it's it's quite a place. So going back, just going to Vancouver in of itself is an adventure. I mean, and especially coming from the east. I mean, it's a long Canada. As I said, we're a big country.
We're big.
I've never been there.
We are a really big country. I'm heading back again. I'm going back in July.
Oh yeah.
So I'm really looking.
You'll love it. You'll love it.
Yeah, I'm going back in July. I'm driving this time, so yeah.
Yeah, I heard about you. You and Jeff Saint are going on a road trip.
Yeah, a couple of us are heading out, and I'm meeting Cindy Howell out there, and I'm hooking up with Michelle and Doug Sikora out there in Glen Wells, and
Is Julie coming up from the south?
I don't know, but I'll let her know that I am doing the road trip. We talked about it.
I know you did.
I will let her know that, hey, I'm doing it. Yeah. See you there.
We'll have to do a broadcast.
Yeah. So, it should be fun.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Anything else you want to talk about? If not, we'll get into the shout-out.
Get into the shout-outs. We'll have to have Lisa back another time and for another Gab Fest and see how things have developed with the hypnosis and cannabis combined and what new stuff she's got up her sleeve, because there's going to be more.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Yes, I'd love to come back. It's been great. You guys are wonderful hosts. And, I'll be posting stuff on Facebook soon about cannabis and hypnosis, powerful combo. And hopefully everybody will have a chance to learn something new.
For sure.
All right. Shout-out time. Person, place, a thing, a website, an event that's coming up, maybe? Stuff like that.
Something you want to promote? Go ahead, Lisa.
Oh, well, find me on Facebook on VoxPot Canada. You can find me under Lisa Julie Cahn as my profile. I have many pages, including Westmount Hypnosis and Frat Marketing for all things business related, how to write your own business plan, for example. And yeah, on VoxPot Canada, there will be a promo coming up soon about cannabis and hypnosis, an 8-week course with practical exercises and interesting theory.
Very cool.
Very good. Good stuff. All right. Kim?
Do I have one? What can I do off the top of my head? First Nations Medicinals in Cape Real. Chadwick McGregor, my shout out goes to him. I know I've given him my shout out recently, but he's getting it again because he's just been so great. He's donated more stuff to IWK to give away, and I can't say enough good things about him. You want to get in on some of the prizes from First Nations Medicinals? Join us on IWK, Cannabis Information with Northern Ontario Kim on Facebook. Every night we have the 710 Deli Sesh, and we give stuff away. So join us.
Alrighty. Just a reminder to everybody know that we'll be back next week. Julie Corello will join me. She has a special guest all lined up. You can find the Pace Radio Show on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. And you can find us online at pace-online.ca as well as paceradioshow.com. Thank yous to our sponsors as usual, Legacy420.com, BMA Hydroponics.com, Camelford Lifestyle Shop in downtown Camelford, as well as Dr. Buck's CTS.com. And a huge thank you to our guest, Lisa Cahn. Thank you, Lisa, for coming out and talking to our listeners and Kim and I and answering all our questions.
Thank you both. And I'd like to give a little shout out also to someone you mentioned earlier, Kirk Adamson, who was great. I love Giza papers. They're my favorite. And so he has a hashtag that I'm sure you guys have promoted before. Or they have a hashtag, Giza Rolling Papers, Get Rolling or something. I'm sure you all can find it. So
yes, Gazette papers, that's all I use. I buy boxes. I buy a box.
Yeah.
I've never bought a box of papers until I got Gazettes. You know, it's...
Yeah, me too. I'm in that club.
And everything from the box that it comes in, like, you know, the individual packs, you know, with the magnets and the strong.
The magnet system, and they're strong. They don't rip.
Yeah, they don't rip. They don't flatten out or anything. You still get 100 leaves in each thing. You get a warning within it.
Yeah. You don't have to throw the top one away every time you open the pack.
Exactly.
My favorite, I like to promote German. I have a fascination. I'm German origin from my family, and they're German made. So, like Volkswagen, they're my favorite car. I love, all things German. It seems.
There you go. There you go.
All right. As always, Kim, thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome. I'm happy to be here.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in the program. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
You know I blame it on industry.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Do you want to hear what patients and cannabis advocates have to say? If so, then catch the Pace Radio Show Wednesday nights here on paceradio.net.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.